Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Unfiltered Podcast. I'm your host, Ernest E.J. Christian. Obviously, I hope you guys are enjoying the NBA playoffs. Right now, the biggest story in the league right now is the now announced suspension of one Draymond Green, who was suspended today for Game 3, rather, after his altercation with Domantas Sabonis in Game 2 of the Kings Warriors series. Obviously, this is a big deal, a big talking point in around the basketball world, sports world, you want to call it. And a lot of people are saying there's a lot of people who actually disagree with the NBA's decision in terms of what they decided here. Here's where I stand on that. First off, we saw the incident. Draymond Green, going for rebound. On Sabonis falls down, grabs Green's ankles as he's trying to run away. Green then tries to get away and then stomps Sabonis in the chest. Of course, Green gets a flagrant 2, is also ejected from the game. Sabonis gets a technical foul as well too for holding on to his ankle. I think the NBA got it right here, and I'm not saying that because of the incident. I thought the incident. I don't think the incident warranted suspension. I think the histrionics after him going, yelling at the crowd and egging on the crowd on the road, a crowd that was already into it because this Kings team is, again, first time in the NBA playoffs in 17 years. They're already into it. You get the kind of the malice and the palace feel to it. Not saying that these fans have done that, but with Green being very rebellious and trying to yell and engage in the crowd in a very negative way, calling them from what I could read from his lips, calling them the P word, pussy. It would warrant some disciplinary action. I think if Draymond Green didn't have the history that he has, and didn't perform the histrionics after the initial ruling on the court before he got ejected, egging on the fans, all that. I think they make it a flagrant 1. Maybe they just make it a flagrant 2, but it gets ejected. But ultimately, he won't get suspended. I believe they suspended him because of everything else around that. And in fact, the league has said itself that it played a part. It wasn't necessarily the main reason why they suspended him, but it did play a part in the decision they made when it came to that. And that has to weigh heavy too. Like, people say, well, you shouldn't be able to use pass offenses. Well, why? If you have a history of someone that plays on the edge and eggs on officials and this and that, yeah, you should be looked at a little more tediously in that way. So they got it right. And obviously you see Green here, and now the Warriors obviously not 0-2. They're not gonna have Draymond Green for Game 3. You get the flashbacks now of the 2016 Finals, where Game 5 he gets suspended for Game 6 because of basically hitting LeBron James in the jewels, and a lot of people say that game, well, it was Game 5 actually, and they also say like that instance is what propelled Cleveland to come back from 3-1 deficit to win that series, against a historic Warriors team. A lot of this now too, also narratives with Draymond, and now into his future now now because he can be a free agent in this year if he chooses to opt out of his contract. Is he worth the squeeze? Is Draymond Green worth the squeeze? And on one hand, you say, well, even with all these incidents and everything else of that nature, they have won 4 titles in 8 years. Draymond Green has been one of the catalysts of that. People may look at stats and say, oh, he's not Steph Curry, he can't shoot like Clay and all that. No, but he is their best defender. He's actually probably the best passer. He actually sets their offense in a lot of ways too, because the whole small ball thing. He's extremely important to the Warriors. But is he still worth the risk as this team gets older? This window is talk about windows. We talk about windows now in terms of the playoffs and what teams have a larger window. And Golden State window is kind of up in the air because Steph's still great. Clay is back to being his old self for the most part. They have a deep roster. But they've had a rough year. Not winning on the road and all these things. So there's a lot of question marks around that in terms of Draymond and where he fits in for the future. And do you commit X amount of dollars for this guy? I mean, this team's already playing a record. This team's already heavily into luxury tax. They're paying $300 million plus on top of that in luxury taxes. Is Draymond worth the squeeze? It's tough for me to decide. And he's getting older too. Also, it's not saying he's old, but he's getting older. He's not gonna get any better. So there's a lot of things here, a lot of moving parts when we talk about Draymond and the future of the Warriors. This is why this instant here. Remember, this season started with him sucker punching his own teammate Jordan Poole. Remember, this is where the season started. And could the season end in the first round against a Kings team that just made the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, where Draymond again tilts the series? By the way, he gets ejected in the game where that game was still a game. That was still a 4-point game with 7 minutes to go. So Draymond again, his fingerprints is all over this. We don't know. But I think the league got it right here. Because of the history. Because of the histrionics after the incident on the court. And look, this is what Draymond Green does. He plays on the edge. We get all that. But at the same time, is the juice worth the squeeze at this point? We shall see. But again, Draymond Green's out for Game 3, which is, as is recording, of course, on Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night. Looking forward to watching that game tomorrow night, especially too. We'll see how that goes, though. But again, I think they got it right here. They got it absolutely correct here. So, until next one.